Our President Patrick was called to special duty with Willis Knighton today. At this time, Secretary Treasurer Carol Barnes will introduce our guests. Carol?
Good afternoon. We have several guests today, and I will ask their host to introduce them. Frank Williams has a guest.
Thank you. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Sandra Tucker, who is the Dean of the Nursing Department for Southern University.
Thank you for coming. Kathy Haynes has a guest.
I have as my guest today Jerry Little, who is the owner and president of Little Realty.
Nice to have you, Jerry. Rick Holland has a guest.
Hi, I have David Butcher with me. David's been around a lot of people in banking circles around here for years.
Welcome, David. And James Blewett has a guest.
My guest is Joe Colvin, managing partner of New York Life.
Welcome, Joe. We show no visiting Rotarians. Are there any today? If not, please silence your cell phones. And welcome.
Thank you, Carol. We have several announcements today, and let us begin by expressing our sympathies to club member Patrick Harrison, who lost his father last week. Monty Harrison was a past president of this club and a true Rotarian. The Rotary Post is going electronic exclusively. We will have copies of each week's Rotary Post here at the meeting that you can pick up if you need a hard copy. But it will now be distributed by email in the future. Lunch cost, like all other commodities, is rising in cost, and so you can expect, as you learned today, if you hadn't already been here, to hear that the cost will be $13 hereafter. And Jeb Braddock has an announcement about the membership campaign, Sharing Rotary. Jeb.
Membership recruitment committee is working hard. We appreciate your efforts. There are, Jennifer has forms that you can fill out to share Rotary. Now let's face it, every one of you knows somebody who would qualify, who needs to be, that you need to share Rotary with. And I'm asking you to think about somebody that you would, in the next week or so, that you could get a form from Jennifer, that you could bring them to Rotary and share Rotary with them. We have a good list and we have some cool stuff going, and today Ernest Supper Club is going to, that's going to be our prize for the person the Rotarian who shares the most with others for sharing Rotary. So we've got a prize going. Get a form from Jennifer and share Rotary.
Thanks, Jeb. Would you please give your attention to Charlotta Nordyke for an announcement?
Actually, I have two announcements. One of them that is on a personal basis to all of us who know her. Sarah Collier was president of the club 3 years ago, if you'll remember. Her husband, Mike, has received his heart and his kidney transplant in Houston 2 weeks ago on the 11th. It was rough at first. As Sarah said, Mike has never done anything the easy way. He stayed in the ICU for almost 2 full weeks, which is very uncommon with a transplant. But he has been put into a regular room now, and Sarah called me in kind of a panic last night, and she said they're talking about discharging him. And so that's very good news for Mike and very good news overall. The heart is functioning great, the kidney's functioning great, but Sarah is kind of freaked out about having to deal with Mike now with taking him back into a residential setting. They will have to stay in Houston for anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on how things go. So at this point, I guess you can kind of shift your thoughts and prayers more to Sarah than necessarily Mike. But I guess when you're doing that, you might pray that Mike lives through this part of the adventure as well, so if Sarah does not kill him. And so, but it was good news. The other relates to our club. I have agreed to chair the Dragon Boat races this year, and they are going to be on a date that will be easy for all of you to remember: 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11 falls on a Saturday this year. It'll be the year that we're on the river, or the day we're going to be on the river. I am beginning to put together chairmen, and we'll be announcing those chairmen to you in the coming month. If you are interested in getting involved with the Dragon Boat races in any way, please visit with me and let me know. It is a fun fundraiser for the club. I don't know that they've ever made the announcement, but it made over $30,000 last year, and most of that will be going back into the community. So if you're interested, please see me and let me know what part you would like to be involved with. But 9, 10, 11 will be the Dragon Boat races for the club for 2011. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. And sooner would be better. If you let Charlotta know of your interest, it'll help her get her committees organized. Will you welcome Daryl Rabouche for our monthly birthday celebration? Daryl?
Thank you, Guard, and good afternoon, everybody. They say March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb, but this morning I'm feeling very woolly, so it's a nice day out here. We're going to celebrate birthdays, and we'll sing a cappella. You all right, Tom? You can make it? Okay. We started March. We will start March on March 3rd, celebrating birthdays with Gene Bryson and Paul Fisher. On the 4th, Jimmy Allen. Ted Hartner on the 5th, Tommy Clark on the 6th. The 7th is Mark Bray. On the 8th, Bobby Madison. On the 9th, Vance Bales. The 12th, Sarah Sibley. The 13th, Fred Bailey, James Blewett, and Lawrence Calhoun. Robert McGowan on the 14th. Gene Elliott on the 16th. Our St. Patrick's Day baby is Leslie Quinn. On the 18th, Charlie Lindenmeyer and Chris Philip Barr. The 19th, Barrow Peacock. Joe Cooper, past district governor, past president, and for reasons I can't possibly understand, this club's favorite whipping boy, will celebrate his birthday on March 21st. I just offer a blanket apology to you, sir. On the 22nd, President Patrick celebrates a birthday, but he's not here, so tell him happy birthday if you see him. On the 23rd, Bonnie Bolton. Joe Hood on the 25th. The 26th, Cress Gardner, and Robert Grand, and Tom Jackson. On the 27th, Greg Barrow and Bob Hall. Carol Emanuel on the 28th, Hoyt Bain on the 29th, along with Chris Giordano. And we round out the month of March with Chris Gorman, Amanda Gucher, and Mr. Camera, Ed Jackson, all celebrating their birthdays on the 30th. And now, without the benefit of a piano player, we will serenade you. 1 and 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everyone.
Thank you, Daryl. Wooly?
Yeah. Like 2 people got the joke.
At this time, I'd like to call on past President Tom Arsenault, who will introduce our program. Tom?
Thank you, President Guard, President-elect Guard. I have a great pleasure to introduce a friend of mine today, and this morning I emailed her, and I asked her if she would send me a little biographical information for purposes of an introduction, and she did. Oh. Thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce Chipley, Florida's gift to the Arklatex. Liz Swain came to Shreveport some time ago to become a news anchor at KTBS Channel 3. So I duly checked Wikipedia, and according to Wikipedia, that was a violation of the child labor laws. You really should read that Wikipedia page. It's very interesting. You'll like the date of birth. Liz is currently the Executive Director of the Downtown Development Authority, which is, as you know, a quasi-governmental agency tasked with pursuing and supporting private and public development in downtown Shreveport. Before that, she of course worked at Calumet as their public affairs officer, and before that she spent 8 years as executive assistant to former Mayor Keith Hightower, a member of this club. Before that, she was in everyone's living room every night. And all of you remember, everyone remembers that she was in their living room every night, and they all know her, just by the way. We were just talking about that. Liz and her husband, Steve Culp, live in the Highland area. They live in a wonderful, wonderfully designed former grocery store. If you haven't had the opportunity to go to their house, it is a unique and wonderful experience. Not only are they great hosts, but it's one of the more interesting residences you will ever see. I have had the opportunity over the last 12 years to get to know Liz, and particularly over the last 3. She and I have the privilege to serve as members of the board of directors of the Highland Restoration Association. And what I have learned about Liz is something that you all should know, if you don't already. I mean, sometimes when people have been on the news and their job is to read teleprompters, people do not know the brain that is behind the voice. And I want you to know that what we have for our speaker today is an energetic, creative, talented, intelligent woman who I am proud to say is my friend, and I am thrilled to say is the new chairman, the new director of the Downtown Development Authority. I'm glad to present her to you, Liz Swain.
Wow, I just was going to go home right now. I don't know that I can live up to that. I was looking around the room as I was sitting up here, and you know that I've been here before to talk to you in different capacities. I came when I was with Calumet, I came when I was with the mayor's office, and I came when I was with KTBS. So I'm happy to be here today representing the Downtown Development Authority. But as I look around, I notice that I have some board members who are here from my DDA and my DSDC board, and I have a former head of the Downtown Development Authority, Frank Williams, who is sitting there, and I have the attorney for DDA, Jerry Jones, is here, and I've got my former boss at Calumet, Tom Germany, is here, and movers and shakers from all over the region are sitting here. And the only thing that could make this any worse is if I had some ex-husbands in the room. The only thing that could make this any more traumatic for me. Of course, I think you remember the time that I was here with Mayor Hightower and he had laryngitis, and I had to deliver a speech that I had never even heard him give in front of him. And he couldn't say anything, which was wonderful. It was so absolutely great. I am so happy to be here today. I've got to tell you, too, a little story about Tom and Gardway and Reese Middleton. When I took the job at the DDA on November 22nd, and I will remember that day because when I walked into my office, the phone was ringing. And it was Tom Arsenault. And Tom was saying, Liz, have you considered again about being a Rotarian? And then the second thing he said was, please tell me Gard has not already called you. Please tell me. The next call, Gardway. And I said to him, Gard, Tom Arsenault just called, and there was a silence. It was deadly. And then we chatted a little bit, and then the third call was Reese. And Reese said, am I too late? And I said, it's 8:05. You've been bested twice already. So I do want to thank you for being so friendly and so welcoming, and I believe that if you will have me, I would love to apply to be a member of the Downtown Legislature.